Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let's talk about salaries. A typical salary that you would expect to obtain and to get whilst living. We'll start off with Kuwait. We'll do Kuwait, and I've got my calculator for XC. And then we'll talk about, let's talk about Kuwait, the salary for Kuwait. Let's talk all about Kuwait actually. That way, I think it'll make it easy for those that want to live and move out there, and maybe they've got the means of applying for a role, and that way they're able to work it out themselves, okay? Um, so with regards to moving to Kuwait, the typical job that you would probably be looking to get is the teaching industry. And when I say teaching industry, I mean teaching English, science, teaching maths as well. These are the main three: English, maths, science. There's also teaching IT. Now, I'm speaking through experience because I've had a contract there, I've worked there as well, and I've also handed in my CV in several institutes, colleges, and universities there in Kuwait. So, I'm going to give you a breakdown of how much you should expect in terms of salary. Okay. Now, if you get a salary like this, okay, and when I say this, I'm putting it out there on my phone because it's like, if you get a salary out there, one thing you have to bear in mind is, I was given this advice, and I always give the same advice to others, is that you can't now start comparing the UK, the USA, Canada, South Africa, wherever you're coming from, to the country you're living in, because it's two different places, two different currencies, two different lifestyles. But a teacher on average gets roughly around, this is the normal average that they should get, is 800 KD. That's like a good, salary to get as basic pay without any extras. Okay, without any housing allowance, without any transportation, ticket fare allowance. It's just 800 KD, which is exactly, as you can see here. I wish I could make this bigger, but I can't. 1964. So there. That's how much you would get. 1964. Okay, and that is £1,964.28 to be precise. Now they add on top of that, okay, they add on top of that, usually for housing allowance should be 200. Okay, so that's another £490. £490. So let's say altogether, okay, you're getting 1,000, okay, for housing allowance plus the actual basic salary. That's £2,455.35. That's without any deductions, because there's no tax in Kuwait. You have to understand that there's no tax whatsoever. And then they'll usually throw in another, let's say, another 100 KD, and then another 50 KD. So 1150. That's if, they're being nice. That's how much you probably get, because they'll do like transportation as 50 KD. Okay, like transportation allowance. So that's £2,822 without any sort of tax. Okay, without any sort of tax. Once you get that, you have to bear in mind they also should be covering the flight fare. Okay, the ticket. They should be covering that for yourself and your family members. Now, this is for like probably an English teacher will get this allowance. An IT teacher, I'd say maybe they'll get the same or a bit less. Okay, there are some places where they offer more, but this is like the average. So let's talk about the average. So the working out. So this is the salary. Okay, this will be the salary that you'll be making. We'll try to split the video so that they're clear. So instead of talking about the working hours, what you expected, what not to take, contract this, that. But this is like the salary that you would get for working in usually a high school in Kuwait. Now, if you go for the British schools, okay, usually the British and American schools, they pay more. So in Kuwait, it splits into three. There's bilingual, there's American, and there's a British school, and there's public schools. Bilingual, American, British schools, and public schools as well. These are like the three. And then obviously there's like Islamics, the ones that are like more the bilingual Islamic schools. So they also instill a lot of Islamic education in their curriculum. So the British and I remember myself when I went for a role, and it was like I went and I asked how much salary is and so on and so forth, and basically they were offering roughly around, let's say you're looking at 2,000, okay, which is roughly around 4.9 thousand pounds, £4,900. That's how much you'll be making. But that's obviously if you've got a lot of qualifications, you've got a lot of experience under your belt, and this is how much you're expected. And of course, there's no tax in it whatsoever. There's no tax in it whatsoever. This is how much you'll be making for being in a place like this. So I hope, inshallah, with this, you've understood the breakdown in how much things would cost in terms of if you're making that, then obviously we've seen the other video how much things would cost. And this video here, really and truly, sorry about that, just my little one. This is like a breakdown, and then this is what to expect. One thing I would advise, and this is like maybe the closing note, is when it comes to you accepting a role. So, like I said, the English teachers usually get the most, okay, because it's the Middle Eastern countries works on demand. That's like the most sought role in Kuwait, and that's like the most important role because everyone there wants to learn English. That's what it goes back down to. People want to learn English, that's how much they get. So look, with regards to contract, when you get given that contract now, and this is the advice I was given, this is advice also many years ago, people told me about, and I know that and this literally this is exactly the truth. Once you get given that contract, before you approve and you sign, try and negotiate as much as you can. Because once you've got the contract, you've signed it, you've agreed, then there is no, because once you get there, you realize, oh, I didn't know I have to do this and this and that. There may be things that you may not be informed of in terms of your role, and then you get there and it's like, I think I deserve more in terms of my salary. So make sure you always negotiate to your, that which satisfies you as a teacher and as an individual. Always value yourself. Always honor yourself as well. Move to Medina, here to make change and help you settle in the Middle East. Assalamu alaikum.